Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Whole Perspective. My name is Kevin Delory, Chief Lending Officer with EPM, joined as always by my good friend and SVP of Wholesale, Kenny Phillips. You know, Kenny, believe it or not, we are 9 episodes into The Whole Perspective.
I tell you, it flew by, honestly.
It did. I really want to take a minute to thank Jennifer Vivier and Jenna Silverman for putting all this together. They've done a great job behind the scenes. They're making some tweaks, always making sure we're ready for every episode. So lucky to have them as part of our team. You know, when I look back, I just think what a cultural shock this has been to join EPM. I mean, we've always come from these big companies that said they had culture and they didn't really have culture. It was more of a word. And this show is a true testament to who Eddie Perez is and what he's creating and what you get when you join EPM. Your opinion matters. Your ideas matter. I want to put everyone out there and let the world know about who our account executives are, who our leaders are, our underwriters. It's not, the CEO show here.
Right.
And I'll tell you, man, looking back, and it's funny that we're 9 episodes in, we're 9 months in, and I couldn't be happier. I think it's one of the best decisions I've made in my professional career.
I couldn't agree more. When you talk about culture, you talk about Eddie, and you talk about his onboarding, right? Some of the things that he did when he onboarded us, just, texting us, checking in on us. And we thought it was all, window dressing, but to the day he still does it. And it speaks volumes about who he is and how he leads. Even when we brought on Phil Broussel said, I'm sold. Guess what? You guys don't have to text me and call me anymore, because he thought it was just, another sales pitch. But now he sees Eddie still does it to the day. So I agree. The best decision we made.
I mean, it's not fake, right? I think, and it's rubbed off on me. I think I shared a couple episodes ago. I've read more books this year than I read in the last 15 years. We continually want to improve, and I want to be better for all of the people that believe in us and come join us and follow us. And I think that is what makes us different. And, I think it's cool that a lot of the people that we've had on the show, we got to know since at EPM, but we've known them our whole career, but we've never sat down and really let them give us input at what's going to make us a better partner for them.
Like I said, it goes a long way, right? It's kind of without the culture again. It's us figuring out how to do better business with people, building relationships. But before, it was really about the bottom line. Just how are we going to make money? How are we going to make money for the company? Well, it's bigger than that. We're building an ecosystem, as we say here, and building relationships and partnerships that will last a long time.
Yeah, it reminds me of a great line that I heard actually Frankie Wholesale, we call him, say, never put profits over people, because that's when you're just going to go downhill and you're creating a company that's not sustainable and doesn't create loyalty and doesn't create raving fans. I think that was one of a real telltale sign that we made the right decision, people over profits. And then the other thing is, I heard someone on one of these episodes say, I learned just as much from it was Phil Broussel on, on one of our internal podcasts with EPM. And he said, I learned just as much from my bad managers as I did my good managers. So the good leaders made him great. The bad ones made him even better, because he was able to take things that they did and apply them, do just the opposite. So make sure that people were being treated the way they wanted to be treated. So a lot of the stuff that you listen on the show, and I go back to the fact that you'll never hear us push EPM, and we're about to for a second, but it's not pushing EPM.
Right.
It's about EPM making you better, helping you with the tools, the resources, the people to help you in this 2022 year of uncertainty. So I'm going to ask Jennifer to roll a clip of a little teaser that we want to share with all our viewers and everyone in the industry. It's going to be taking place at, there you go with the date. It's going to be taking place at...
To MJ, you trained Kobe Bryant and you attended the Hall of Fame induction ceremony this past weekend.
I read the book cover to cover in one setting. I told you this. I read every single word of it.
That's all about clarity.
clear.
All about clarity. That's all it is. It's about the individuals that can block everything out.
Greatness is inside all of us. Yeah, you know what? It is true. Greatness is inside all of us. Got to keep challenge yourself for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
How awesome is that? I mean, that's just a little glimpse of what we're going to be doing to help our, teammates, our broker, our partners, to succeed in 2022. That's just a small little teaser of what's to come. So I would tell you all to make sure you save the date for July 28th and 29th at the Battery in Atlanta. It's going to be 2 days of, just learning and sharing ideas. And that's something that, Kenny, when we think about it, and we think about all the events that we've been to since we've been at EPM, one of the things that we do is share. We share with the resources that we have with our partners. We constantly want, everyone to be better, and we want to give them the tools. And I think this says a lot about who we are. We're not a partner that's, you said it earlier. I think I quoted Frankie Wholesale, profits over people.
Right.
It's clear. The people
absolutely. I think, as EPM, as a company, just want to make the industry better as a whole, right? We don't look at anyone as competitors. It's really just growing our business. There's enough business out there for everyone. And the more we execute on preparing and educating people, the better the industry as a whole. So,
and I think it's really cool, some of the guests that we've got to know on a personal level. When I think of our friendship, I really think of Matt Schultz,
right.
John D'Onofrio, just having them on the episode and the amount that they care about each other, that Matt's willing to, forgo a paycheck because John has a family at the time and he wants to make sure that he's able to take care of his family. Right. It says a lot about the quality of some of the guests that we have on here.
I tell you, taking a paycheck for 9 months, right? Showing that they want to deliver before they, anything from the company. Kind of reminds us a little bit about us when we started, way back with Ray B. Same kind of premise, right? Just not taking away from the table, bringing something to the table. And those guys, I tell you, they deliver. Where they went from $800 million to $2.4 billion in 6 months. Just amazing growth. And the biggest key is that they know that they're working harder than anyone else. And their employees, their LOs, everyone know that.
Yeah, it's one of their lines, right? It was no luck, all hustle. Right. We like to joke around and say we got hustle muscle. Those guys have hustle muscle, right? I mean, they'll do whatever it takes, 7 in to 7 at night, answer the phone 10 o'clock at night, whatever it takes, and that's something I remind any listener. Everyone always asks, what is it? I'm going to share a story with you. I don't even know if I shared this with you. I was at a party on Sunday, and it was a kid's birthday party, and someone came up to me and said, I listen to your podcast every week. He's not in the industry. Okay. And I said, why? He said, I just need a little positivity in my life. And what you guys and your guests bring is positivity. And I challenged someone. I said, this isn't just a show about the mortgage industry. This is a show about being successful, about being a good leader, about creating culture. I mean, within our families, we want culture. Within our organizations, we want culture. So anyone that listens to the show is getting more out of it than we think, right? We wanted something to help share the perspective of the finance industry and the mortgage industry. And sure enough, we're touching people that we didn't even know we would, So that was really cool. I don't know if I shared that with the story. I'm actually going to introduce you to him later today. So it's cool to hear that people are taking away some stuff.
Right. And like you said, it's all relatable, right? These are life lessons, not just, mortgage industry lessons. Laura Brindale had said it, when she aligns herself with the company, it's really about her personal as well as professional, goals that need to align. So this is, like I said, you can apply everything we talk about on the show to your normal day-to-day life.
As Laura had a great line. It was, leadership is placing people in the right position where they can be successful. And the other thing she said, trait of being a successful person is adaptability, right? If you can't be adaptable in 2022, you're going to be in some trouble.
It's super critical, right? There's a lot of uncertainty out there, a lot of skepticism, right? But as Matt Grella says, you got to live the now, right? You can't sell interest rates from yesterday. You can't sell tomorrow's interest rates. It's really about the now. And if you can understand that, you'll be more successful, like you said, and make it through the tough times in 2022. And, I talked to Eddie yesterday. He's thinking maybe for the next 3 years.
And I think anyone that saw last week's episode with Christine Beckwith knew that I was a little fired up at the end. I found her to be extremely I think sometimes I could be like a little chihuahua. I think, I get all excited and I start barking. She got me barking and excited. I love when people talk about just taking away excuses and seeing a challenging year as a big win. Is the time to show 2022 is going to be the time for those guys that were bragging in 19 and 20, saying how great they were because the market was great. Let me see how great you are in 2022, 2023. I think Christine said it best. She said, stripping back excuses that people make to themselves.
Right.
And that was her thing. Like, she's excited about 2022. She's not afraid. She's like, look, I'm going head on. Yeah, I see opportunity in a tough market. So I thought that was really cool to hear her say. And, as you know, I talked to you later in the day, it was great to hear her at the end of that interview, when we were off air, just telling us what she thought and, being able to share how excited,
Right.
how excited we were to have her on the show.
I loved how Christine always talks about getting better, right? Evolving and being a coach. And if you want to be a coach, you got to be a great student. How she got coaching, you know what I mean? And then she talks about her power words. She goes, what gives her power? She said 100% honesty, not gossiping, standing up to conflict and facing your enemy directly. Powerful stuff that she gave. It really, really is powerful information that she passed out. And she talked about her, women with vision. And it's really not about liberation or anything like that. It's really about merit, right? Owning it, not asking for a piece of the pie, but actually, earning it. So,
yeah, she was a great guest. One of my favorite lines, I think, has got to come from my man TJ. He's not only a bourbon expert, a wine expert. I know Phil likes to El Presidente likes to torture him over that, but he showed up at the Masters with 13 bottles of bourbon for everyone to try, and only to realize that no one drank bourbon. So, but if you want to share his line, I can share it. I love it. It's one of my favorite.
No, go ahead. Take it.
Be confident. Make a decision. The road of life is paved with flattened squirrels that couldn't make a decision. Be decisive. And it is so true. And I think that is one line that sticks with me. And every time I see him, I ask for another TJ-ism because he comes out with the best lines.
Absolutely. And I guess that speaks on, not being afraid to make a mistake, right? It's all right. Make a decision. If you make the wrong decision, guess what? You go back and, reassess and then go at it again. And that's, being decisive is everything.
Yeah, it goes back to a lot what we preach here at EPM. It's empowerment, right? You have the guardrails there in case somebody goes off and
right.
Steps out of line, but you're really empowered to do your job and to do what you think's right. And to your point, be decisive, make a decision, go with it, and stick by it, stand behind it. Everyone knows one thing about me than anyone that's ever worked with me. It's if you made a mistake, it's okay. Just say I made a mistake. But let's learn something from the mistake and we keep it moving. I think that's what makes us so successful, as a group and why we're growing so quick, and creating Raven fans with the wholesale channel, right? It was great this morning to see, one of our bigger partners send an email saying, I love what you guys are doing. I want to continue to help you grow and be number one. LFG, I didn't know what that meant, but I had to go figure out what LFG meant. And now I do know what it means. I can't say it on the show, but, it got me excited. And it was funny. Jennifer and I were talking this morning after the show, and you know this better than anyone. I am so fired up. I really believe that when I sit and talk to these people, they're all successful. They all have had something to share to make them successful, to make us better. And the first thing I do is I get up, I walk out there, and I start yelling to everyone, let's go, let's get fired up. And I start sharing some of the nuggets that we mine through this show. So, I want to thank all the guests that have been on for the first 8 episodes. You have been probably responsible for doubling our uploads on any given day and any given Friday, because I'm so fired up. It's actually infectious and contagious, the excitement.
No, absolutely. I think one of the biggest, the common theme is, in this market is being a differentiator, right? I've heard several people say it, from Laura to Christine to Chris Gordon. It's so critical to, to stand out, to not do what everyone else is doing. Be yourself. These are the, little nuggets that you get to say, hey, this is going to push me through the other side.
That you brought up a name there that made me think of something. Chris Gordon and Michael Gordon, they are a lot like we had the pleasure of working for their dad, who was an amazing leader, definitely an icon in the industry. alongside Ray Brousseau, another icon in the industry. And I think when I look at both of their sons, right now, you look at Chris and Mike, they have the values of their dad, but they have their own spin now. I enjoy watching Mike's TikTok videos. They're quite entertaining, and but they do something different. They're taking it to the next level. And just like Phil, he has his own unique approach to everything. He's got a lot of those, the roots of his dad that makes him such a strong leader. And then he's created and developed some stuff on his own to make him an individual unique of his dad. And the same with Chris and Mike. So we've had the pleasure of working with Generation 1, and now we're along Generation 2. And it's equally as exciting, right? It's really unique and different.
I wouldn't trade it for the world. Ray Brousseau, Dave Gordon. Like I said, we got a chance to build up and hone our skills underneath those guys. And now we're working side by side with their sons, and they're just as good as, their parents are. The hand down of that knowledge, perception of the business. It's something that, unfortunately, I didn't come from the mortgage business, right? I'm learning as I go. So I kind of latch on to guys like Ray Brousseau, Dave Gordon, Eddie Perez to kind of, learn it. And these guys are fortunate enough to grow up in it. So,
you brought up a great point there. And you can learn. I think a lot of people in business say, well, I'm X years old, right? So I'm 51. I'll be 51 this year. Here makes me look 30. I think sometimes you get this attitude like I can't learn from a 25-year-old, from a 35-year-old, from a 45, because I've already been it. I have been through the subprime, rise, the meltdown. I've been through all of this, and this guy was in high school, or this guy wasn't even born yet. And I think that is a big mistake you can make. If you don't think you can learn from someone younger than you, you're missing out. I mean, I learn something every day. True story. Yesterday, Eddie and I have a conversation. Said I was struggling with something about, and he goes, I want to give you a piece of advice. And I wrote it down. Sure enough, it was my win for the day yesterday. I used it actually on you. You didn't even notice that I used it on you yet. So let's see if it works. But my point is, when I listen to Chris, Mike, I listen to Phil, I listen to all these guys that have been in the business for maybe half the time we have been. I learn more by being open to that criticism, open to that, next idea. I walk out on the floor here and I see some young guys and they say things to me. I'm like, hey, that's a great idea. Why not? I wish I thought of that. Right. But don't turn yourself off. Don't think that I'm wiser, I'm older, I'm smarter, I've been in business longer. When you do that, you will just become irrelevant. Right. It's continue to grow, continue to listen to everyone around you. Listen, there'll be naysayers. There'll be people that give you crazy advice. You'll be able to sift through that and figure it out. But it doesn't matter. You can get bad advice from a guy that's 20 years older than you or 20 years younger than you. And it's same with good advice. Right. So be open to that criticism and that critique. I mean, I think I learn a lot when you ask people, when I was an AE, I never asked, what do you like about me? What do I win? I don't get anything, and I can't fix anything. You like it? I can be nicer or whatever. I say, what don't you like about me? Right. And I take notes. I go back and I improve that. That's how you get better.
We used to ask that question about the company. What don't you like about the X company? What are we doing wrong so we can always get better? But it's funny you talked about learning from other people, and sometimes even though they're younger than you, they know more than you. Chris Gordon, in one of his statements, said, remove your ego and be okay with the fact that people on your team are going to be better at certain things than you.
100%.
So, and Chris Gordon has the best designed office in the first 8 episodes.
I saw that house, by the way. They said something the other day. I think we've been lucky enough to have a lot of great people and, that we've met throughout our career. When I think of the Pisani's, I think of service, and I think that's another thing. The service is, that's what keeps people coming back. You treat people the way you want to be treated. You want to be a good person. You want to have good business relationships. You want to grow. Understand, have empathy. We talk about it all the time. Be empathetic. So that was a word that I started using probably 10 years ago. People look at me like I was crazy. I'd be like, and I truly believe in this. And I think the people that are successful do it. They may not, preach it like I do. Like Pisani's believe in one, I call it one EPM, one, whatever the name of your company is, but they treat their teammates and their partners like they're part of the family. They give Thank you, my Jackson. No, they give
I agree, Nick.
the pocket square is a squirrel trying to get a nut, right? So that's just so the anyway, they give the service and they treat people the way they want to be treated. And they're empathetic to the plight of borrowers, real estate agents, brokers. And I think I'm telling you this all now. Anyone listening, you can steal my idea. If you want to be a disruptor, you want to be a game changer in the mortgage industry, treat each other with empathy and be understanding that there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be rushes. There's going to be mistakes that I said, maybe we could do this loan that I might have made a mistake on. And we have to go back and explain that to somebody. But do it in an empathetic way and do it as fast as you can and realize that you made a mistake and move so you could fix it and get to the next step. I think that is the game changer. Is I hate when people say sales and ops. You automatically create two different companies. You created two teams against each other. We're one team. And I love that about Eddie, that when I came to him and said, we're one EPM, he just said, you know something, you're right. This is what you need to be. And he's open to hear what we have to say. And if you want to be a game changer, I don't care what kind of business you're in. You're all on the same team because what you do today affects the brand that is on your jersey. If EPM's in your jersey, I don't care if it's Kenny that makes a mistake, it's Phil that makes a mistake. The name of the jersey is EPM. It's not treating each other.
Absolutely. And like Phil said, Phil Brousseau just commented, lives not loans, you know, and you talk about Matt Grella talking about we win, right? We win as a team. It takes the whole team to win. It's not about, you know, the front end. It's not about the back end. It's not about sales. It's really about the whole team, you know, and it's about relationships. As Pisani, Rob, and Anthony both said, their business is built on relationships. You know, the trust factor. They treat your client as if your business as if it's their business, and they win. And they win. And they're not afraid. They'll jump right in. They don't hide, as they say. We don't hide from problems. We jump right in.
I mean, it's kind of like Christine Beckwith said, right? Her powers come from 100% honesty.
Right.
No gossiping. Standing in conflict. Face the enemy directly. Right? There's a problem. You go after it. You fix it. And you move on. You be honest with yourself. You be honest with the other person. And everything else will take care of itself. Right? And I think that was awesome about her when she explained the problem she had. She's like, someone said something I didn't like. They were shocked when I called them. It's being honest. You know,
Sure.
we all have signs on our door. Hang an ego at the door. No egos allowed. You know, go at it in a professional way. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with the other person and address it. So I think that was really powerful. And I think that her sharing that story really, I learned something from that. I was like, wow, you know, sometimes you dwell on things and you let it eat you up and then it affects you. No, just pick up the phone and have the conversation. Move on. Makes you a better person.
Christine had an amazing story, you know, just the struggle from the beginning, putting herself through college, working, activities, you know, all of the above. And then, you know, she said it speaks to why she's so persistent, right? How come she's just a game changer, right? She's been through it all. She's not afraid to lose it. You know, she said that I think that the fact that I'm not afraid to lose it because I never had it before, you know, puts me ahead of other people because the people that had money, right? They're afraid to lose it because they always had money. But if you never had money and you've earned it, guess what? You come from a different perspective. So
I learned a lesson very early on during the subprime boom. Everything was going great. Those were the good old days, they say, and I'm much happier than I am today. I'm much happier today than I was then. But one of the comments someone made to me is you got to remember one thing. Too much money can be just as problematic as not enough money. And for her to say, hey, my happiness, I was happy, just as happy without all of this. I am with this. So she wasn't afraid of it. I thought that's a great attitude to have, you know, because if you do things for the right reason, you'll always be happy and you'll always be successful.
right.
It's when you lose focus of why you're doing what you're doing. And early on in my career, that was me. I lost focus of what it was all about. And, the crash was a good thing for me. I know people saying you're crazy. You knew me during those days. I was, trying to, pay $10,000 in bills with taking home $6,500. The crash happened. It was real. Filling up my oil tank with diesel. Right. I mean,
it was tough times. You'll turn the heat down and sleeping with a wool hat on to go to bed.
Right. Yeah, I used to do that when I was in high school to lose weight when I was wrestling, but I was actually doing it now to just keep warm. Right. I get it. You know, I'm really looking forward to some of the guests we have coming up. I mean, we have Jesse Uji. What a great story. You know, his parents coming over from Nigeria. Now he owns a racing team. He owns a trucking company. talk about successful. I mean, that's why this podcast goes outside of the finance industry. It's just talking about successful people, and I'm really excited, to continue to learn, continue to take notes, continue to mine those nuggets, to get into their, brains and let them share things that not only make us better, make our listeners better. And it's regardless of the industry you're in, right? I think that's what makes the show special.
No, absolutely. And I think that no matter what industry you're in, Laura Vidal made a great comment. And she said, she loves our industry. And her value, she said, is making sure that she leaves this industry better than when she came in it. And that applies to everything. If you can make a difference, truly make a difference and impactful on whatever industry you're in, on your day-to-day life, whatever it is. And that's what it's all about. That's true value.
Yeah, here's a quote that I think is great right now for what we're going into. It's from Jamie Cavanaugh, and it was, "Don't stop doing what you were doing when times weren't as fruitful." Right? When you're slow, you want to, you want to make yourself busy, and you keep doing that. Don't ever stop doing that. Just because you get busy, find more out, time in the day. I actually just read a great book, and I'm not trying to plug this book, but it was Win Fast. Learn how to get things done in 2 hours that people take 8 hours to do.
Right.
Because if you put your mind to it and you really sit there and, Eddie says that he wants everyone to be more regimented. Everyone's like, what does that mean? Do I have to get up and work out? Do I have to do this? No. It was really about, how do I set up my day to accomplish everything I want and use the best use of my time? That's what he meant by regimented. Block out your calendar. Make sure you have 30 minutes to plan. Don't just wing things. And, it took a while. Everyone was calling like, does that mean he wants me to get up and do 10 push-ups in the morning and then go for a run at lunch and, eat lunch right at 12? No, it just means plan your day and do it every day. Be committed to it and you'll get more done. It's working. It's, and it's not just about winning. And people use the word winning as like there has to be a loser and a winner. It's really about being the best version of you. That's winning, right? It's mentally winning. It's physically winning. I love it. Eddie pointed out that picture right there, and he said, "Look how far you came." And I had to look at it. And I said, "Whoa, what happened?" But it was about getting regimented. It was when I started to read more and I started to learn more, is when I stopped doing the same old, because I was learning new things that could make me better than I was the day before. And we always say the person you should be competing with isn't a competitor. It's the best version of you. If you're getting 1% better every day, that's the person you want to compete against, because that's a badass right there. That's going to probably leave it all on the field and win every time.
No, it's like you said, it's a better version of yourself, right? It's not about being someone else. I can't be Kevin DeLore. You can't be Kenny Phillips or Eddie Perez or Phil Brousseau. It's really about maximizing your own potential and getting better every day. And whether it's reading, listening to, podcasts, whatever, it's getting better in your industry, becoming a resource.
Well, we see it from our good buddy there who EPM is proud to sponsor, Patrick Reed, in first place right now. A little shout out to Patrick, and Sam Horschfeld won the tournament last week. So we're surrounding ourselves with some winners, and I'm sure Jesse's going to start breaking out this season. I know the racing team had a good finish a couple weeks ago. It's all you can do is show up prepared every day, go for the win. And the win doesn't have to be being the best at what, if it's with, I got to get 9 widgets in today. It's doing everything that you need to do to be successful and leaving it all in the field every day. That's a winner to me. The final score, everyone says, the final score is important. No, it's how you play the game. Come in every day, look to learn something more than you knew the day before. Be better than you were the day before. If you made 9 calls, the next day make 10. And those are the things that will make you successful. And be positive. You and I both know this, man. We hear negative people, and it's like a cancer, right? And we
run from it.
Exactly. I don't want to hear it. I see certain people that start walking towards me, and I turn and walk the other way. I've tried all I could to help them, but I'm gonna, you need to stay positive. You can only try to change them so much, but stay positive, stay focused. That is how you'll win.
That's funny you say that. Remember Gary V down at EPMX, he had said that. He goes, eliminate the negativity. He goes, to the point that I don't care if it's your mother. If your mother is negative, just don't see her as much.
All right. It's Clogito in the Bronx Tale, when it's the lesson about letting the guy borrow money. If, hey, look, Why chase him? Now he's never asked you for money again. Just keep it moving. You did yourself a favor. It only cost you $20 to get rid of a guy. Yeah, Phil, you're 100% right. Positivity is contagious, and he's 100% right. I think, and Phil and I talk a lot. It's the happiest he's ever been. This is a true story. I got a call last week from an underwriter that said, I am the happiest I've ever been at any company I worked at. And I worked with her previous company. And she said, it's amazing. You guys, people see your videos and see what you guys are posting. They listen to Eddie and they think it's like, you guys got to be full of it. There's no way that people actually go to work like this every day. She's like, I thought that until I'm a month and a half in. And it's true. It's the way it is. You could still crush it by being kind, by not having an ego, by embracing conflict. It's taken us a while to get used to embracing conflict. It was something, it was probably that held us back from making a decision, right? So today we realize that embracing conflict isn't a bad thing. So I don't care where you're at in your career. If you disagree with somebody, have a conversation in a professional, courteous way to put out your points, to talk it out, because you'll feel much better than holding it all in. That just creates animosity, resentment. And who wants to go to work like that every day?
We've come 360 as far as, our attitude when we walk through those doors every day. And it says a lot about the culture here at EPM. We appreciate it. We love it. And it gives you drive to come in here every day fired up, wanting to deliver. You want to leave it all on the field for someone that really cares about you, and you feel it every day. And I think that's when you really win.
Yeah. And I mean, let's face it makes your personal life better as well, right? I've learned a lot and over my, 9 months here. And I could say that I'm a lot happier, I think, outside of here because you take these lessons and you apply them into your personal life as well. And it just grows there. When I set my goals up for this year, it stares me in the face every morning. And it was building a premier wholesale lender while attracting top talent. Be more attentive to my team and to my family. Finish the day just as strong as I started. And that doesn't mean inside EPM's office. It means at my house. It starts with getting Brooklyn ready for school, taking her to school in the morning, coming in here and taking care of my work family, my work friends, and then going home and doing the same with my work family, my home family, my home friends. So that is really, where it's at. I think that is the, what has been a game changer for me. And, I think Laura said it great. It said a company's culture has to align with you both personally and professionally. And sometimes you don't see it. On day one, did I see that? No. Right. Do I see it clear as day now? 100%, because of all the things that have been added to me, everything I've learned that's been added to my toolbox of tools that I've learned to cope with at work or at home. So I would tell everyone, just keep listening. You find the nuggets. This notebook's full of nuggets. I'm continuing to learn something from every guest that we have on here. We're going to be having Anthony Costa coming up, Katie Sweeney, Jesse, Kenny. We got some other maybe surprises that we're trying to work on now. Some big
people outside the industry that I think are very impactful.
Yeah, that are true winners, right? And they got there the hard way. It wasn't handed to them.
100%. Well, we got 8 episodes in. We really got to thank first of all, our first guest Jamie Kavanaugh, TJ Curran, Chris Gordon, Matt Schultz, John D'Onofrio, Matt Grella, Anthony Rapasani, Laura Bendejo, and Christina Beckwith. Just great guests. They shared a lot of information that, I've taken notes, honestly, and I'm going to apply to my everyday work and personal life.
Yeah, I would ask you all to, how do you define your value in the industry? That's a question for everyone that's listening. Just, I'd love to hear it. If you want to send an email, my email is pretty simple, kevin@epm.net. I'd love to hear how you define your value, regardless of the industry, because there's a lot we can all learn. We could, and I'd be happy to share this on a future episode. So anyone that wants to do that, feel free. As always, thank you for listening to the Whole Perspective podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, you could continue, we could continue the conversation. Head over to the Broker Success Community on Facebook. You can also find us at LinkedIn at EPM Broker Success and on Instagram at EPM Broker. As always, thanks again, and we'll see you next time. But if you have any questions or comments until then, you see my email is up there, kevin@epm.net, and Kenny's is kphillips@epm.net. We'd love to hear from you. If anything more than just helping being selfish, we're going to take some of your how you define value and maybe apply it to our own, days in work life, home life. So thanks again, as always. Thanks to Jennifer. Thanks to Jenna. Thanks for Eddie for this great idea. And, thanks for all the guests. And again, don't forget about save the date, July 28th and 29th. If you're looking for some tools and tricks and some skills to help you through the challenging market we're entering, make sure you attend. Reach out to us, and we can give you some information. We're going to limit this. It's not going to be like EPMX, so it'll be limited to 100, 150 people. So you want to attend this one. This one's going to be a good one. It's going to be a little more intimate. It's going to be a lot more talking about what you can do to grow your business. So we're very excited. Kenny, as always, thank you, man. We piloted the ship together, and it's a great ride.
No, it's been a great 8 weeks. We're building. We're getting a lot of pertinent information, and don't forget about the Broker Success Summit. It's going to be great.
Thanks.
All right, guys.